This is no ordinary light aircraft. With striking looks, it could be mistaken for a military trainer. It boasts a cruise speed of 162 knots true, a landing configuration stall speed of just 33 knots, and an amazing endurance of over 10 hours, giving you a realistic range of more than 1500 nautical miles. It's jam-packed with all the latest safety equipment and big aircraft tech. But the best part of all, in the UK, you can fly on as little as 31 hours training from scratch and a self-certified medical. Basically, if you can drive a car, you can fly this plane. And in the US, it should shortly be under the new Mosaic rules, meaning you sport pilots can get your hands on one too. To celebrate the arrival of the Shark in the UK through its brand new dealership in Norfolk, I've been invited to take one up for a test flight. So strap yourselves in because I'm bringing you along with me. This is going to be so good. Let's get going. The Light Aircraft Company are the new UK distributors for the record-breaking Shark 600kg microlight and are based at Little Snoring Airfield in Norfolk, just 8 miles from the North Norfolk coast and 20 miles to the northwest of Norwich. I've been invited to go for a flight in the Shark demonstrator, appropriately registered G Mako, with a Mako Shark being the fastest of the shark species, with Stuart Hudson, who as well as being one of the engineers here at the Light Aircraft Company, is the resident Shark demonstrator pilot. The day started with me getting up close and personal with the Shark. I was able to get myself acquainted with the overall design and build quality, and I must admit it is very impressive. But an overall length of 6.85 metres or just over 22 feet and a wingspan of 7.9 metres or almost 26 feet wingtip to wingtip, the Shark is smaller than it appears in the flesh. The airframe is of a monocoque with integral fin design using a glass fibre carbon fibre construction method. The elliptical wing is built around a carbon fibre main and auxiliary spar, which carries the mounting point for the huge single-slotted Fowler flaps that occupy 60% of the trailing edge. Both the wings and horizontal tail can be removed for easy transportation and storage. The flying controls consist of mechanically activated surfaces with all-electric trim and flaps. The Shark has electrically operated retractable tricycle undercarriage with a steerable nose wheel and hydraulic disc brakes on the main wheels. Shark has only one engine option at present, and it's the proven 75 kilowatt 100 horsepower Rotax 912 ULS coupled with a variable pitch composite propeller. There are two options for fuel capacity, 100 or 150 litres, that's 26 or 39 US gallons, and you can run the aircraft on MoGas, UL91 or Avgas 100LL fuel. The cockpit is built as a separate Kevlar safety cell, similar to Formula 1 racing cars, and is laid out in a tandem configuration with two slim upholstered bucket-style seats. As standard, Shark has dual controls. G Mako also has the instructor configuration option, which includes full dual duplication of all flight instrumentation and controls in the rear seat. The whole cockpit is covered by a fighter-style frame tinted perspex canopy, which is latched on the port side. The whole aircraft, fully configured, weighs in at zero fuel weight of just 325 kilograms or 716 pounds, which gives a useful load of 150 litres of fuel, 100 kilograms for pilot and 25 kilograms of luggage. Performance wise, with that configuration, Shark will take you in a long range cruise, sipping just 12 litres or 3.2 US gallons per hour at 127 knots true, over 1,600 miles or a bladder busting 11.6 hours. This aircraft, G Mako, has been configured with a Dynon suite of avionics, but you can specify Garmin, and all Sharks come with a 2-axis autopilot.
Clear prop.
So the time has come for my first flight experience in the Shark. I strap myself into the surprisingly comfortable rear seat, which feels as though you are slightly elevated from the front seat as Stuart fires up the Rotax and the Shark's impressive avionics suite. As we taxi out, I'm surprised at how big the Shark feels for such a small light aircraft and how smooth the ride is from that sprung trailing link main gear. It's a really warm afternoon with little cloud cover, and I thought that Without a blind, the cockpit would have become uncomfortably hot. However, that tinted canopy seems to be doing a great job and I don't feel hot at all. Stuart pulls up at the hold area and runs through the power checks and sets the massive flaps to takeoff configuration. I asked Stuart to talk us through the takeoff as we backtrack on Little Snoring's runway 07 to depart on the reciprocal runway 25.
Yes, so we'll use first stage of flap. 35 knots, the front wheel will come off the ground.
Wow.
And at 55 knots, the aircraft will become airborne. We'll then do pitch to achieve 65 to 70 knots. Once we establish a good climb, 500 feet, we'll stick the gear up and we'll select flaps up. Once the gear and the flaps are up, then we will then pitch for an 83 knot climb out. We'll reduce the power so the prop comes back to 5,000 RPM and we'll pull the throttle back to 26 inches of manifold pressure. Once we're happy and we're at the altitude we need, we'll just level off and let the aircraft accelerate.
Perfect. So what have we got here in length on the tarmac?
So the tarmac is about 400 metres. In total it is 850 metres, both, so we've got 450 metres grass, 400 and 400 metres of tarmac.
Okay.
Takeoff Mike Alpha Kilo Oscars, taking off runway 25.
So airspeed's alive, we're
Yep.
40 knots.
Front wheel is off, and the aircraft is airborne.
Nice.
Put the gear up. Gear starts travelling. Flaps up. Gear is up and locked. Flaps are up, and then we'll pitch for about 82, 83 knots. Pull the propeller back. Establish about 5,000 RPM, and then pull the throttle back for about 26 inches of manifold pressure. And we'll make a right turn here.
We take the Shark up to 6,000 feet where the outside air temperature is a lot cooler, and with just 75% power we cruise along in level flight at 144 knots true airspeed or 166 miles per hour. Stuart hands over control and I finally get to fly the aircraft. The controls feel nicely weighted, and with such a small side stick you really need to positively force the stick, although its movement of travel is very short. The whole aircraft feels balanced and little to no rudder is required when banking. As we fly around the tops of the fair weather cloud, I was expecting us to be bounced around a little, but the flight is really smooth, and although the aircraft is not certified for IMC, it feels as though we could punch through any of these clouds with little upset. We have an amazing view of the Norfolk coastline as we turn back towards Little Snoring and I start our descent. With just a few miles left, Stuart points out some traffic on the ship's ethos with Shark's built-in ADS-B and FLARM traffic awareness system. Stuart takes back control and asks me if I'm happy to do a low pass, to which I agree, and we power across the airfield at 150 knots, just 200 feet above the ground, and climb and turn for a landing back on runway 25. That low pass was really cool, and being so close to the ground really emphasised the Shark's speed. Landing the Shark is pretty conventional. The gear gets selected down below 70 knots, and 1 to 2 stages of flap are set. An approach speed of between 50 and 55 knots is established, then a positive flare is initiated 1 to 2 feet from the surface to ensure that you touch down on the main wheels. Both power on and power off approaches are acceptable. As we taxi in, I can't help but be incredibly impressed with this amazing little aircraft. We climb out and I ask Stuart to show me some of the features that make the Shark a little bit different from your usual light sport or microlight aircraft.
What's this, Stu? I've not seen anything like this. Did you leave that on deliberately?
So this is the movable ballast that we have in the aircraft. It's a 6 kilo lump of steel, as you can see. So with 2 up, we put it in the front. If you're flying solo, we put it into the back.
Okay, so where does that go?
So I'll show you how.
You just chuck it in the back?
No, in the luggage claim,
Yep.
you can see down the bottom there's a little tray.
Oh, yeah, here.
That's correct. So it slots into there. Put the pin in to stop the movement, and there we go.
Perfect.
Inside the cockpit, you'll see there's a light that will come on when it's started up.
Yep.
It tells you where the movable ballast is, either in the front or in the rear.
Is electrically operated, the undercarriage?
Electrically operated. So the main gear has got a motor underneath the rear seat, and it's operated on that. So there's cables that then pull the main undercarriage up. The nose wheel has its own electric motor, which is fitted in the wheel well. That pulls itself up as well, and they lock into place when they're up. If you do have an issue, there's emergency cables that you can pull. It releases the locker mechanism, and the undercarriage free falls down and locks into place.
Okay.
In the wings, you'll see the little viewing holes.
Yep.
And you can see the little warning flags inside, and it tells you whether the undercarriage is locked into place.
So you can physically see that if...
When you're in flight and you put the gear up, there's also a little green LED that illuminates inside.
Okay.
And that tells you that the gear is up and locked, so you can see that. Also, the wheel wells are all illuminated. They've all got a clear light that shines in there, so you can actually see the gear.
Wow. They thought of everything.
They've thought of everything.
As most light aircraft have these days, we've got BRS or rocket deployed parachute system. And I saw that it's the first time I've ever seen that, is that it's duplicated.
Yeah.
The pull handle is duplicated in the front and the back.
Yeah. And due to being a tandem seat, it allows both pilots then to be able to pull if in case of emergency. Side by side, obviously, you'd only need one handle because you'd both be able to get hold of it. So it's duplicated front and rear, and it fires out of the front of this aircraft, which is quite unusual. Normally they come out of the rear. And it breaks and pulls a cord all the way down the side to behind the P2 seat, where you can just see the strop hanging there.
Yes.
So it pulls that out of there. It comes down nose first. Now, the special thing about this aircraft is, and they've got 2 that are still flying, they are recoverable after the BRS has been deployed.
Wow.
We can have it back at the factory, repair the damage to it, and put it back in the air again.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I don't think there's many aircraft that you could say that about.
Normally an aircraft gets written off every time the BRS is pulled, hence why people reluctantly don't want to pull them.
Yeah. If I wanted to order a Shark exactly like or the latest model of this with all these options on it, how much would that be?
So this model, as it sits with all the bells and whistles on, is €261,000 plus VAT. That comes with a full instructor package. There's the BRS front and rear. It's got the throttles, the sticks front and rear, and the full dyno package front and rear.
And so availability is, you were saying?
So September, if you order now before September, the likelihood is you'll receive your aircraft in March next year.
Okay, but that's for the UK.
So that's for the UK, yeah.
So one of the things that's really attractive about this aircraft is the fact that it is a microlight in the UK, and that means that you can fly on a microlight licence, an MPPL, a national licence. So perhaps you can just tell me about exactly what's the minimum you would need to fly this aircraft if you had no licence at all.
So licence, you'd need a minimum as an MPPL with a microlight licence rating, and then if you buy the aircraft through us in the UK, then we throw in 6 hours of training for the complex type and 6 hours of ground school for that as well. That is a mandatory requirement that has been put into the POH with this country.
Perfect. And if you've got training in a micro, if you've got hours in a microlight and you've got a licence, it is just that 6 hours.
Just the 6 hours of the complex training to get you converted onto this aircraft. It's not so much the flying of the aircraft, it's controlling the speed, which is the issue with.
So almost $300,000, or about the same in euros after tax, which is just over £250,000, and with no night or IMC flying, limited useful load and no international type certificate. Who is this aircraft for? Well, I think this will appeal to new, maybe older pilots that perhaps have the money but not the ability to pass an ICAO medical. After all, if you are legal to drive a car medically, in the UK at least, you can fly this. If, as hoped, Shark can be flown on a sport pilot licence in the US, I can see a huge market potential for such an easy access Ferrari of the sky. I also think it will appeal to those that want a second aircraft for fun flying, or perhaps those that just find the uniqueness, performance and design of the Shark something they just must have. The Shark company are very innovative and very progressive, and who knows where the Shark will be in a few years' time. However, with new technologies and with the maturity of carbon fibre airframes, this high performance LSA market means Shark doesn't have it all to itself, and it's an exciting time for anyone looking for this type of aircraft. If you're interested in finding out more about the Shark in the UK, I'll pop the light aircraft company's details in the description below. I'll also include the details for Buckley Aircraft Finance, who can provide unique financial solutions to help you purchase a Shark, or in fact any aircraft. I received no payment for this review or for any associated promotions, and this video is my personal view of the aircraft. Whilst making this video, some footage has been provided by Shark and their details are below. Now, would I buy one? Well, if I were in the market, I can honestly say it would be on my short list. Okay, back in Charlie Zulu for the flight home, and it's just a mere 100 knots. And as I enter Norwich's airspace, I get a little friendly shout out from the controller.
Golf Charlie Zulu, looks like you made it.
Yeah, better than I thought. So yeah, I just nailed it basically, thank you.
No problem. Is that short field?
It is, yes, Terry.
Yeah, I thought so, Terry. Hiya. I'll follow you on YouTube.
Oh, lovely, thanks very much. Just been over to fly the Shark.
Oh yeah, it looks quite good, doesn't it?
Superb, fantastic machine.
I'll wait and see it on your channel.
Yep, looking forward to doing that one. It's going to be good.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did making it. Fly safe and short field out.